says we're live.
It lies.
Oh, there it got bright too.
It did. I'm going to guess that we're live. Okay.
Okay.
Let's start this thing off. As usual, if you want to keep us nailed to the floor, given the wind, donate here. Also, the fact it was 80 degrees yesterday and 19 degrees this morning.
We need heat and we need cool. We need heat and we need cool. Any given day.
If you like coffee, buy for these guys. Let them know you heard about it here. Maybe they'll send us more coffee. We can hope.
I did an order from them. I've been drinking their Bali, which is supposed to be a low acidity and have a bit of a chocolate aftertaste, and it's really nice. Yeah.
The geisha that they sent us. Oh my God, that's good coffee.
Yeah.
And as always, since I've still got, I don't know how many weeks to go on my 30-day ban. Okay.
Yes.
So, with the help of Cecil, the PTSD monkey, poster child for PTSD right here. I touch him, he starts screaming. It's terrible. We're going to start off. Why are you giggling? We'll start off with Cedar's new release. But not broken.
You should talk amongst yourself for a couple minutes because you guys are way early.
We are?
You are. It's like 5 till, so
we got 5 minutes to go.
Get your ass back in the basement.
Yeah. There's like only 9 here because I know you were worried about getting started.
I think Cecil just went under the couch.
Oh, good.
Cats go under the couch because Sarah's books are under the couch.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
He's trying.
Egg Tiger, you did say we were early. You were quite right.
Yes.
What we don't know how to do is stop this and restart it. So you get extra content. It's a bonus.
Yes, because we're using an old laptop of Jim's. It's a Mac something or else.
It says it's a MacBook Air on the front there.
And it hasn't been used for a while, so I wasn't sure, A, that it was charged up, and B, that I remember how to get there from here. So I actually got everything set up at 2, and I've been sitting here twiddling my thumbs and beating on Cecil for an hour.
And I'm probably going to have to talk to whoever has the keys for this YouTube channel so that we can have it available to run on my laptop as well if necessary.
Courtney.
Yeah. Okay. So that way we have redundancies built into our redundancies because
I like multiple redundancies.
Yes.
I believe that Jim is one who set it up, but you can talk to him about it. Although I don't know, he might not want to let the monkeys out of the asylum. So I think I have access to it as well.
Because I think I do too. Because usually when I set something up early, I hit go live, it sits there and looks at me like I'm stupid, and we have to redo it. So we went live a little early to make sure that
we were actually
going to go live.
Yeah, because it sucks to have multiple people there waiting and then be like, nope, we can't do this. We got to back out and
go into a new. We're going to a new one.
And for most of y'all, I know that you like us enough to bear with us, but there's probably people that we lose when we do that, and frankly, we can't afford to lose anyone right now.
No. I don't think we afford losing by any time. Hey, Jen, how you feeling, sweetheart? Wait, what time is it? Shit, 3 more minutes. He has to go beat on
we
Cecil.
We have plenty of airspace. I get to see a cute picture of Jen with one of her feline nursing assistants sleeping on her, pinning her down so that she rests.
She can't move.
This is good.
Hurt herself.
Yes. There's actually, medically speaking, there's an interesting phenomenon where purring actually helps with healing, especially when it comes to like broken bones. I know my dad, when he broke his leg, they gave him this electrical unit that he had to clamp onto his leg, and the electrical pulses or vibrations or something actually was aiding in his bone healing. And so I can totally imagine that a cat laying on you purring happily is good for you. Not to mention that at least it puts me to sleep.
Yeah.
Unless it's your face.
Well, okay.
At 5:30
keeping
in the
you
morning.
from breathing is not.
No, Henry has taken to trying to sleep on my face at 5:30 in the morning.
Well, that way you can't get away.
I think he's trying to get me to stop snoring.
2 minutes. I can beat on Cecil for 2 more minutes.
You'd have to go find Cecil first since you sent him flying.
Somebody posted that something was more abused than Ian's monkey, and the number of puzzled reactions to that was kind of amusing.
This is what happens when you don't go and watch the live streams.
More people need to watch the live stream to understand the in jokes.
I think the live stream, just like the broadcast, has to come with the warning of not safe for children.
Oh, when I said
or work or husbands or
the
live stream is safe for husbands. Broadcast not so much.
You have to choose on when you're setting up. Is this safe for children or not safe for children? It's not safe for children.
To explain the why only one murder needle, hairborne defenses, they're called now.
Hair stabby.
It's because I only could find one when I was getting ready to leave the house. So, and one will hold the hair up.
Okay, so I told everybody I needed an alibi today. Don't out me.
The other one is, I'm sure, in my other cup full of hair sticks because I have multiple cups.
Considering how many hair sticks we all wear,
right?
There are hair sticks everywhere.
There was a little stack of them over there where you sit for the broadcast.
Yeah.
Took them home. I bought one for Rita back when Ben was first marketing them. I bought one for Rita, and he sent me one when he sent me the one for testing, and they stayed on Rita's desk for a while.
Yeah,
she had them on the desk, and then something clicked in her head, and now I think she's got 4 pairs.
Well, the pink one's got our attention at Tolkien because we had all of them at the North Texas Troublemakers booth. And, because Ben had just made a huge raft of them. So we had all the colors.
Yeah.
She's got the, I think she might have hot pink ones. I'm not sure.
Well, she's
got the subtle colors.
Yeah.
And then when I go by the university and I see her with hair sticks, and it's like, yes.
Sanford, my love, I am so sorry about stabbing you with the hair stick. It didn't draw blood.
And the great thing is I can buy her more, and she's happy with them. So
no, he has some really great colors.
Very nice.
That there's a jade. I mean, the one I'm wearing right now is the original jade, and it's almost transparent. If you shine a light on it, it glows.
That's the exact same one I got.
Yeah. He's got one that's a jade green that's a little bit more towards the green, probably closer to about that in color, maybe. And I really like those. Okay, so I had an issue with the TSA flying back last year. The problem was, so the TSA is obsessed with my hair. The TSA has been obsessed with my hair every time I have flown since the TSA began.
Your TSA is obsessed with patting me down.
Well, the problem with the TSA and my hair is I have tried, because I usually wear it like this if I'm traveling. So I have tried wearing it just in a simple braid because it's pretty obvious it's just hair. They still want to feel it. I have tried wearing it completely loose and they still want to feel it. Yeah. They've gotten to the point now where if I have it up in like this, they want to take it down so that they can feel it.
Oh, that's going a little far.
This guy, as I was flying back, this was in North Carolina, he was running his fingers through my hair repeatedly after I had taken the hair sticks out.
That should have been a female doing that.
And then the female comes over and sees I'm holding hair sticks in my hand that had dragons on them. So I do a chainmail dragon dangle. So very sparkly, blue, silver, very pretty. And her eyes lit up and she looked at those and she goes, "Those look sharp. I need to take them. I can dispose of them for you." And I'm like, "No, I will leave the TSA section, go back, check my baggage." And then she was like, "Well, if you break the tips off, you can take them with you. Or if you break them, you can take them with you."
break them and make them sharper.
And they wanted to know what they were made out of. They wanted to know where I had gotten them. And
none your business, none your business, none your business.
Right. And I was just like, and I'm literally shaking because of this guy running his hands through my hair. Because as we'll get into with the PTSD anthology, there's a reason I do the PTSD anthologies. And this ties into that. And it was deeply unpleasant, and I was off balance and couldn't. And they let me go. So I was able to leave out and check my bag through. And I came back through security. And the other thing they had issue with was I had packets of tuna fish in the Mylar containers, which I had checked carefully to make sure that they were okay.
Right.
And they were like, why do you have these? And I'm like, because I'm on low carb and I don't want to have to worry about trying to find low carb snacks.
Because I'm allergic to peanuts, which is always served on the airplane. Can we move along?
Right. Well, and I had enough that while I was traveling, I wouldn't go hungry and
buy
end
your
up eating
own
a
lunch.
Donut. Yeah. So it was just, I'm not flying again for a while. There are some cons I would like to go to, but I'm not flying.
No.
So
my thing with TSA, when I lost my favorite pocket knife, I went back and forth with a female, and she said, well, I'll dispose of, I surrender, I'll dispose of it. I went, fuck you, and threw it in the garbage can.
Yeah.
And then when I walked that, got the pat down, the enhanced pat down.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean,
credit card swipe and all.
Right. And I was not going to let that woman walk off with my hair sticks in her hand.
Hell no.
And I know what it was. It was because I had them dressed up like jewelry, and they're very pretty when they're done that way. And I hadn't thought about it because I was in a hurry. I left straight from the con and just went to the airport, so I didn't unclip the dangles. So, but
the
yeah, that's
dangles that got her attention.
I have flown repeatedly. If I don't recognize the phone number, I don't answer the phone. I have flown repeatedly I have flown with some ridiculous stuff. So I have a penannular that is that big. It is wrought iron. The needle on this thing is this long, and it is a needle. It has a very sharp point. I'm careful when I'm putting it on not to get myself. And there are a number of ways that would make a very effective weapon. I don't think I've ever showed you this one, but because I can just imagine the stabby motions now. I mean, heck, I've handed this man a pencil and had him assess it for. So I have flown with that and didn't get any questions at all. So yeah, it's all a matter of how much they want whatever item that is that they're
the pocket knife or the pretty danglies or
right.
I hate to
right.
say.
So
and it was really amazing to me when I was researching TSA to find all of the how to get felons gainfully employed. TSA is a fantastic employer of felons. If that doesn't give you the warm fuzzies, I don't know what will. There's convicted felons making sure Americans travel safe.
And I mean, I have to say that for all that it's horribly ineffective, I think it also depends, it's location dependent, because I flew out of a teeny tiny airport in Oregon coming home from having visited my mom and my grandma. So we're talking Central Oregon, ranch country, salt of the earth people out there, little tiny airport. And the TSA agent there was super nice, friendly, funny. She offered to help take pictures of my mom and I together, because I was taking pictures of my mom and my grandma before I left, because I didn't know when I'd see them again. And then she was funny because when I was taking a picture of mom and grandma, she was photobombing it. So and doing this but it was cute, and like that was very sweet. But that was a tiny little town.
Well, Wichita Falls. The security Wichita Falls. Wichita Falls Municipal. The security is actually city marshals. Wichita. Most cities in Texas have a marshal's office, a city marshal office. A lot of people don't know about it, and some cities don't ever stock it. Wichita Falls has a city marshal's office, and the marshals over there contract to do security. And most of the city marshals, which are peace officers, full powers of arrest, search, and seizure, most of them are retired from the sheriff's office and the PD. They're 50 plus. Most of them have at least 30 years in law enforcement. They don't care.
I was going to say, it's like
They
Jonna
don't
talks
care.
about her filter falling out. I'm sure these guys have lost theirs a long time ago.
They don't care. The only time that I have not got the enhanced pat down is flying out of Wichita Falls.
Mm-hmm.
Go to Wichita and say, hey, you ain't going through. It's like, thank you, guys. I get the DFW, get the thumb up the bum every time. Probably because I'm usually cussing TSA.
I bought a ticket for Sanford to go visit his folks in March, and I didn't even look at what it was going to cost to fly him out of DFW. I'm flying him out of Wichita Falls because I'm like, first of all, I didn't want to have to deal with getting down there, and second of all, he hates traveling enough and going without me. He's going by himself. I'm like, let's make it easy on him.
There's a lot of times that actually flying out of Wichita Municipal is cheaper than flying. It's a hop down to DFW and then to where you need to go, and it's cheaper to leave from Wichita.
And you spend
sometimes it isn't.
You spend more time taxiing on the runway than you do actually in the air.
Yeah.
And the nice part here is, they're like, get there 2 hours before the flight. They're like, nah, get here like 20 minutes before boarding. Because we don't even open up the TSA thing. There's one gate. There's like, the plane doesn't hold more than 35 people. So it's like, they're like, yeah, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You go through TSA, it's like, oh, leave your shoes on. And and you get a taxi past all of the wonderful planes, the jets and things that the base uses.
The Shepherd Air Force Base uses.
Yeah, but it's just so relaxed, and and your luggage actually turns up, and it's such an easy hop.
Well, it's a good little. Wichita Municipal is owned by the city, and the city of Wichita Falls. They do screw up some stuff, but on their well, city and county, two different entities. But as far as their airport goes, Wichita Falls Municipal is a really neat little airport. A lot less BS.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's to bring it back to the whole thing with PTSD. I mean, we all have this PTS because there's a difference between adding the D and not having the D on the PTSD. So you can have post-traumatic stress and you can have post-traumatic stress disorder. And we all have some PTS when it comes to flying these days because of TSA and because it's such a pain in the butt.
Every time I'm flying, I get done with TSA, I'll go cry in the shower.
So it's the thing that frustrates me is that it's like any other bureaucracy is now that it's embedded, we'll never get rid of it.
No.
So, and it doesn't help anything.
And when it doesn't, it's like Greg said, I've said since day one, it's all security theater.
Yeah.
Because the TSA agents are poorly trained, if trained at all.
Mm-hmm.
A majority of them, you can look it up, Google it. TSA is an extremely large employer of felons.
Mm-hmm.
Every employee of felon website says, hey, TSA, because they don't have to carry guns. So they can employ felons.
Yeah.
So, yay. There are a lot of felons in TSA. And they continue their felonious ways. I am buying it's not AirTags, it's the Android version of AirTags. The tracking.
Yes.
And that's to put in our luggage because I don't trust TSA.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't.
I try not to travel with anything that's worth anything because, no. Ben, Frank may be filing a report on how Wichita Falls is a national security risk, but given some of the other things Frank has filed reports on,
his superiors are looking at his report going, oh, whatever, Frank.
Right.
Is this vodka or gin?
And it's all stained by his tears.
Stained with his tears.
Oh.
When the title of your memo has the word hick in it. Get back in the shower, Frank. Your liver will be fine.
Yeah, you can actually go on eBay, I think, and buy the stuff that the TSA has confiscated.
Yep.
Which really tells me that they...
Oh, no, I'm sorry. The passengers have surrendered it. because that's what she kept telling me. You leave the secure area, or you can surrender the item. I went, fuck you, and bend it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know she went dumpster diving as soon as I was out of sight.
I'm sure that they do. They
Bastards.
probably do that all the time. Ugh. Well, fresh hell is probably better than 3-day-old hell, at least if it's similar to roadkill. Speaking of roadkill, 2 dead coyotes on the roads today.
Only 2. Damn it.
Not something you see all that commonly, but I'm guessing it's that time of the year
That time of year.
young coyotes are thinking longingly of
the love on their mind and not thinking of, honk, honk.
Yeah.
Wait till the hogs start showing up.
Oh, they already have.
Oh, have they?
And the skunks.
Yeah,
that's skunks.
Saw a skunk today,
the
too.
The horse was a surprise.
The horse?
That was the horse out on 369?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard all about it.
Yeah, so.
Poor horse.
Yeah, poor horse. Poor whoever hit it.
Whoever hit it left their bumper. Well, yeah, the tow truck had to pull it to the side of the road. And, of course, it froze the next day. So we have frozen rigor mortis horse on the side of the road.
Which is going to be thawing.
For a while.
They took care of it.
They did take care of it eventually, but it led to some upset people on the Facebook group for our little tiny town here that were like, whose horse is that? And when are they taking it away?
Check the brand and call the owner. Come get your damn horse.
Yeah, I don't know that anyone ever figured out whose horses.
Wasn't branded?
It wasn't branded, and there were apparently 3 horses on the road when the accident happened that had gotten loose somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Palomino. It was pretty.
Yeah.
But nobody has claimed it because, of course, they don't want to pay the insurance for their horse being totaling some guy's car. So.
Yeah.
Brand inspector ought to be able to ID whoever owns it.
Yeah, not if it wasn't branded, though.
The brand inspector will have ways of finding out who owns it.
They have ways.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Coming to Texas has been interesting. Well, no, overall, it's been good. I was looking up something. Oh, I bought something at the farmer's market, and it had an interesting label on it. And I was like, is this a thing for having to sell baked goods at farmers markets here? So I went and looked up the cottage laws, basically the laws that govern what you can sell from a home kitchen.
Oh, okay. And
because I'm familiar with them from New England, where they're fairly restrictive. I mean, don't even get me started on Massachusetts. They're insane. But we all know that.
It's a blue state.
Right. Well, and even New Hampshire, which is live free or die, not so much anymore, doesn't live up to its motto.
Live, die, or free.
But reading through the cottage laws here in Texas was really refreshing because they have this wonderfully liberal, I mean, there are things that are federally regulated and you just can't. Meat, you can't.
Right.
And anything that needs refrigeration.
They find ways to get around that.
Well, no, you're not supposed to be able to sell tamales.
Yes, I know. That's why they're drug deal tamales.
Right?
It's called drug deal tamales.
That's why when the city health inspector cratered the little abuelita that was selling the best drug deal tamales, the jailers at the jail paid her bond and then gave the city health inspector the stink eye for the next 6 months.
But one of the things that made me laugh is as I'm going through this, it's talking about things like fruit dipped in chocolate or candied apples. And it's very straightforward because, right, you can't stab the apple. You have to give the item to
the dipped item
and the thing to stab it with to the customers separately so they can stab their own apple. And that's the phrase it used.
Yes.
So I was like, oh, that just made me laugh.
Welcome to Texas.
You have to stab your own apple.
Yes.
I have this image of apples with hair sticks in them. And you can get a chocolate dipped apple at a Airborne Defenses. Check out the sharp tip on that.
Yeah, there's you're not supposed to be able to sell cooked meat unless you're
anything that has to be refrigerated.
it has to be done from
A commercial kitchen.
a commercial kitchen, and there has to be with a health department certificate on file.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here to tell you. All right, shut up, Frank. Jonna's favorite taco truck doesn't have any of that.
Well, it's also in territory I don't think they want to go into.
Because Rita has his favorite taco truck, and she loves the barbacoa tacos.
I have gotta get some of this.
Yeah, well, so she sent me to get some one day. She was craving. She said, "Get some extra for Jonna." Jonna's like, "Okay." So I brought back 3 barbacoa tacos for Jonna, and then almost lost a finger. Jonna likes barbacoa tacos from this one taco truck.
A lot.
And I looked. The little old grandmother running it, there's not a health. You're supposed to have the county health certificate in clear view.
Mm-hmm.
I can see pretty well. I didn't see anything in clear view that was marked county health inspector.
Yeah, no, and the other thing that I found as a process of doing that research is that there's actually some legislation up for grabs this year that would further loosen the laws, because evidently right now if you sell like at farmers market or baked goods from you have to deliver them to the customer personally. So that they're trying to loosen it up so that you don't have to label everything with your home address and phone number, which on a privacy thing I get the whole not wanting to have that running around out there loose. But the other thing is they're trying to open it up so that they don't have to be sold directly from the person making it to the end customer, which would allow for like collaborative groups at the farmers market. Right. So there's some interesting. And they're trying to get it to loosen up so that HOAs can't protest for somebody wanting to grow a vegetable garden in their front or side yard or have chickens.
HOAs in Texas are about to take in the neck. I am well and truly in favor of HOAs getting screwed 6 ways from Sunday.
State legislation. I'll send you the link that I found.
About the only good thing that came out of COVID crap was Governor Abbott loosened the laws on drive-through margarita shops, where you drive through, get your margarita, and as long as you stuck the straw in it, it was perfectly legal to sell you a margarita.
Here in Texas, we make you stab your own food.
Yes. Yes. So, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, if you drive through margarita places, it's a terrible idea," and it's been just fine.
Okay,
and
so drive-through picture of daiquiris in Baton Rouge.
We got one of those in Wichita.
No, but I mean, you don't have to have a passenger. You can just get the picture for yourself, and as long as the tape is still stuck down, and they use painter's tape, you're perfectly fine. I mean, wow.
That was actually the top line item for us with our realtor when we were hunting was no HOA. Nope. And we live in an older part of tiny town, and the people around us. But Johan was fussing at me because I was trying to put up a rose trellis, and I wanted to.
You could just stop with Johan was fussing at me. Period.
Teenagers.
Because that's just where he's living right now.
Right, but I wanted to put it up one way, and he was like, "That's going to look janky. Why do you want it to look janky?" And I'm standing in the backyard looking around, and going, "We will blend right in."
Tiny town is a little eclectic.
Oh, I enjoy walking from my house to the blanket fort. It's about 4 blocks, and it's through the older part of town, and it's quiet, and there's always interesting things to look at. So the fellow down here with the beautiful old car, and
well, there's also one of the things that the city occasionally gets serious about is making sure that your grass is not high enough that pygmies start building villages.
There's a way around that.
Yes, a gentleman here in town went through the Vernon's Texas Civil Statutes and discovered that the Texas state flower.
I know which gentleman wherever you speak.
The Texas state flower is sacred. And I can't, for the life of me, I can't remember what the name of that damn thing is.
Bluebonnets.
Bluebonnets. So you're driving down the road, you go by, and there's this yard, this front lawn that's waist deep in blue.
It's pretty.
And it's all, the whole thing, it is wall to wall bluebonnets. Front to back, side to side, there's a bluebonnet every square centimeter. And the city's like, that's a snake. He says, it's bluebonnets. And the city goes, all right.
So you can actually mow bluebonnets after the end of their season when they when they go dormant, and he does.
Yes, but Walt, he is waist deep in bluebonnets.
My son,
Giant to the city.
My son, who's the de facto lawn care person for all of the North Texas troublemakers, got a brilliant idea after he started working at the.
I just want to say it is extremely generous to call my yard a lawn.
It's Texas.
So he started working for Sutherland's, which is
it's a local chain.
The kids that work there call it the farm store. So that gives you an idea. He comes home one day with this paper lunch sack that's bulging. Bluebonnet seeds had been deep discounted, and he brought home 77 packets of bluebonnet seeds. Which he will be shortly. Which he wants to completely sow my front yard with these bluebonnet seeds.
This is our plan.
So then he doesn't have to mow.
I was telling a story about Big Mama and when she darted a paramedic off her front porch. And
he just broke Jonna.
Well, somebody on the panel had stopped me and told the audience it's Texas. So you'll notice he didn't say lawn dart. He said dirt dart.
Oh. Yes, Rick, he uses one mower, and yes, probably. But I think of all of us, Jim has the nicest lawn because I think Jim's the only one that really cares.
Well, also he pays a great deal of money to Permagreen.
I know.
I have a comment about Jim when we get a little further along here. So.
Poor Jim. He's not here to defend himself.
No.
Oh.
Okay. Just do your thing.
Anyway, so where were we? Bluebonnets.
Yes. State flower. They're lovely.
Oh, they're glorious. Well, and it's not only that, but if you go further south, I'm pretty sure you have during the blooming season, it's not just bluebonnets. It's Indian paintbrush, which is glorious.
Yes. And blanket flower, which comes actually a little bit towards the end of the season and goes through the year. And it's the Gagliardia. So it's kind of like a daisy, but it's bright yellow and red. So I really approve of that. One of the things that was really cool is up in Maine, they have lupins, which are like bluebonnets, only tall.
Okay.
And if you drive up and down the coast of Maine at the right time of year, it is stunning. I mean, you get the Maine coast and lighthouses and all that. And then if you turn in the other direction, you've got mountains and forests, and all along the roads are these lupins. It's just absolutely beautiful. New Hampshire,
full of Democrats.
Well, yeah, it depends on where you are in Maine. Unfortunately, Maine, like so many other states, is run by the cities. Mm-hmm. So you have these little clusters of blue,
deep blue.
And then when you get way up north in Maine, where nobody wants to live because it's really freaking cold for a really freaking long time during the winter, and the snow is deep, and but it's expensive to live up there. And out there, it's bright red because that's what rural folks tend to go that direction. Yeah. So,
yeah, when TxDOT, Texas Department of Transportation, is in charge of the bluebonnets along the highways and freeways in Texas, and when they first started this bluebonnet program, or Texas Wildflower Program, Lady Bird Johnson, it was in her memory of Lady Bird Johnson. We are planting bluebonnets and Texas wildflowers, and they got really twitchy about people touching their bluebonnets, and there's people when bluebonnet season starts. Anybody that's in Texas, we'll probably post a meme about how, as a child, they thought they were going to prison for picking bluebonnets. And that's strictly a Tex Dot's head, because Tex Dot got twitchy. If they saw you sitting out in the middle of a patch of bluebonnets taking pictures, they'd pull up till you get the hell off their bluebonnets. Because they're trying to get them to propagate.
Right. You want to get them established, and you want to get them to
get the hell off the bluebonnets. Ah!
Well, New Hampshire did something similar. My dad was friends with the guy that started this, where they would actually like plow up a section of the median on the interstate and then sow it to wildflower seeds. So now as you go up and down, because New Hampshire's income is a lot of their influx of income is because they are a tax-free state. So they don't have any sales tax. So people come from the states all around to go shopping there, and there's a lot of tourism industry between the skiing and the leaf peeping when the leaves turn colors, and all of the lakes in the summer. So there's boating and fishing and all that stuff. So they want to make it as attractive as possible to the tourists. So it's an interesting program. I approve of it because it's pretty, and
I think this was in the 80s, and it was for about a month in the 80s. TxDOT said, if you'll send a letter here, we will send you some wildflowers, wildflower seeds. So my mother thought, what the hell, let's send a letter. And holy gods, did we get wildflower seeds? Holy crap, we got wildflower. They were in these bags.
Oh,
and
wow.
It was seeds, and this looked like pulled blanket that would, I guess, hold water.
Yes.
But, I mean, it was like 5-gallon bags, and we got 20 of them. It's like, here you go.
Heavens.
And it was like, spread. And TxDOT said, spread them anywhere that they will be appreciated. So we went up and down the median like everybody else, throwing out seeds.
Yeah.
And you can pretty much tell where, I mean, they in the 20 years, 40 years, bloody hell, 40 years since, bluebonnets have been, and the wildflowers have been exploding out. But you can see where towns showed up and they would have a party.
Yeah.
Everybody would bring their wildflower seeds that they got from TxDOT on a certain day.
Yep. And
they'd spread on the median. The volunteer fire department would come through and water them all.
Yeah.
So in Oregon, they had that problem around bus stops, but it wasn't wildflowers.
Oh, no.
It was like, rolling, you got to put those seeds somewhere. So the random marijuana growth in Eugene is, before it was legal, was rather amusing.
So my dad talks about going to high school in Hawaii.
Oh, yeah.
He was at Pearl City, which is the big high school there by Pearl Harbor. And they used to go out back of the school, pull these plants because they had these great forked roots. And if you stripped all the leaves and stuff off them, you could go gigging for frogs with the marijuana.
With the marijuana plant. There you go. Hey, it's a thing.
What's that? It's my frog gig.
Yep.
There's questions I haven't asked my father because, frankly, I don't want to know.
No, you don't.
Yeah, there's some things that should just stay private.
Some things should.
Anyway.
Yes.
Okay.
Jonna's pointing out it's that time that we can actually talk about
Have we
this.
finally warmed everybody up?
Yeah. We're all there.
Okay. I'll show off the cover.
Good looking cover.
Yeah, this came out really nicely. I think both of books, Can't Go Home Again, which is the first of the 2 PTSD anthologies, and But Not Broken. I really worked hard on the covers because so here's the thing with the book cover. We'll digress off into this for a minute.
No, please digress.
Is book covers are a very powerful marketing tool. Oh my gosh, David, you actually did it. The cover has now been nominated for a Dragon Award, evidently. I wouldn't mind if more of you did that because it's not about me. I've actually had a cover on a Dragon winner already. First year, Mark Wandry's book, oh my gosh, can't remember the title of it now, but zombie novel. That was my cover. So the anthologies, I want them to sell well because we want the anthologies, the point of the PTSD anthologies is to give people a tool to deal with PTSD in their own lives or understanding PTSD in the lives of people that they love, whether they live with them or their siblings or friends, or it will help. Fiction has this powerful effect of giving you the understanding of what's going on an emotional level
in somebody else's head.
In somebody else's head. You can actually live through somebody else's life for a little while through fiction. And it's a very powerful therapeutic tool. There's actually a name for it. It's called bibliotherapy. So that was kind of the genesis that started leading towards the PTSD anthologies. So what I wanted was a cover that would really sell the books well. And why aren't we giving the books away? Well, because people don't value free stuff. No. And I will happily give, if somebody contacts me and they're like, I think this would be useful for me, I can't afford it, I will happily give you a copy. You reach out to me, I will send you a copy, no problem. But I want them to sell well because people value what they've paid for, and I want my authors to get paid. Yes. And that's, as much as this is a labor of love.
Love to eat.
Yeah. Exposure doesn't pay the bills or feed you.
Nope.
So
exposure is what you die of when you can't pay for a roof over your head or food in your mouth.
Yeah. And as an artist, I've been about you can't live on exposure. And if you ask me to work for exposure, I will tell you no. But if you offer to pay me
that's
token,
that's
least,
because Cedar's sweet. I'll tell you a dick.
You'll just get an eyebrow from me, and it won't be a kind one.
The point of getting this cover was my analogy since 2014 has been about kintsugi or kintsukuroi, depending on how you render it in English. It's a Japanese art of taking broken pottery and mending it with gold. Mm-hmm. And the idea is that we all wind up broken for whatever reason in our lives. But being broken doesn't make us useless and worthless, because that was something I had to live with for a long time, was being told that I was worthless. And that's part of my story and my complex PTSD. So it really resonated with me, the concept of, even though you may have shattered at some point in your life, the fact that this art exists that can bring it back to a state of wholeness. The scars don't go away, but they're rendered beautiful by using the gold to mend it.
Well done.
So the kintsugi heart on the cover came out of that essay that I first wrote in 2014, and then I reprised the essay for the foreword of the book. The book is not intended to be easy to read. There are 14 stories in the book, 12 authors. I have 2 stories in it because it made the most sense for me to put a story I wrote in a decade ago and then its sequel. And I had a last minute story not work out, so to make sure it was giving a good value. They're not meant to be easy to read because they do deal with some very painful events and emotions that can be very, very dark, because the PTSD comes out of being in a dark place. But the idea behind every story, and the thing that I would the thing that I would say about every single story of these is that I accepted them because they have a message of hope. They end on a hopeful note. They show a way to come towards a light and an understanding. And there's not always a happy ending, because there is no happy ending in life.
Winkler, quote, "Side to my personal issues, probably never purchase these. Purchase them, give them to the library."
Yeah.
Buy them, donate them to the library.
I've had several people tell me that they are buying them and then handing them to people at the VA, to their practitioners, to counselors, and Winkle Red, I'm not going to use your real name here because even though I know it, I I know why you're saying you probably can't read it. You might want to consider taking a look at Can't Go Home Again, which is more military centric. And
If I could write my story for Can't Go Home Again, you can read it.
yeah, Ian's
that's
story
right.
is in that one. And
That's
it
right.
and it's a choice, but you might want to consider thinking about that. I know what you're saying because it's more the first responder thing, which is one of the things that's concerned me. And you did it, and Kelly did it. And you both wrote me stories for these anthologies that were dealing with being a first responder.
Yeah.
And yes, being the first one on a scene makes you a first responder. And you are showing up first every time for other people's traumas over and over and over again, and it takes a toll. I saw this with my dad. I've had to hold my dad while he cried like a baby. I mean, I was an adult at the time, but I've also, when I was a little girl, listened through the wall of his bedroom while he sobbed like a child because he came home convinced that the rescue had not gone well and that they were going to lose a kid my age, actually one of my friends, drove an ATV into a bonfire in Alaska. So he did survive crippling burns, just awful, awful thing. And he wound up having to leave school because he was so scarred, and the other kids would not leave him alone about it. And it was the point where us homeschooled kids were the ones that were like, okay, we'll hang out with you and we'll play with you because nobody else would. But that's neither here nor there. The first responder thing that concerns me is that I had several people say, look, I would write you a story about anything else, but I can't go there. It's going to be too dark, which is arguable because if you end with the hope, I don't care how dark you start out with, because dark is life. And not you and I both know that life is not happiness and sweetness and rose petals and bubble baths.
No.
And I've had to deal with some stuff in my life, and I got into that not in an autobiographical sense, but in very much both of the stories that I put into there tapped deeply into my own experiences as a survivor of abuse as a child and as a survivor of domestic abuse. I'm not a victim. I've survived it. I'm still kicking. And one of the things that got me through the domestic abuse was telling myself that someday I would get to the point where I would write about this and I would help other people.
And here you're doing it.
And here I'm doing it. So, yeah, no, this is very much a passion project, and I appreciate you guys letting me step up on the soapbox. I'm going to shut up now.
I think you have to shut up, but you know.
Yeah, no, it's dark and it's heavy, and it's not going to be an easy book to read, but it is worthwhile.
But there's hope. In every one of them, there's hope, which is what is sorely lacking in a bunch of PTSD stuff.
And you can't go into it expecting there to be a happily ever after, because that takes time.
Well, okay. The whole happily ever after thing leaves out all the therapy, and that includes Cinderella. So I was like, God, I hate that story. Because, I mean, no, they went to therapy after a year of marriage. So, you know, because divorce in the royal family is not so easy.
So one of the things that I learned the hard way is that you get to a point where you're safe and you know you're safe. And then all of a sudden, all the landmines start lighting off.
Well, because you can.
Because you're safe.
Because you're finally safe.
So, I mean...
I won't talk about the current state of my house.
Well, I mean, for me, I had remarried, and my poor husband now currently was like, the heck is going on? Because he was having to deal with me finally being safe and having to work through.
Which is a huge compliment to your husband.
Yes.
Because you felt safe.
Yes. But that's the thing, is where you might get to the point where you're like, I'm safe now. I'm out of that. I'm into a different, better place. And then all of a sudden you're melting down and you don't know what is going on.
It's delayed.
Yeah,
It's
and
really
and that
delayed.
can be really hard to work through. It takes so much time.
Okay, I'd like to warn you guys now.
Yes.
3 years from now, when I finally am making enough money to pay all my bills, I'm going to be a puddle for like 3 months. So, okay.
and we will understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to redirect you guys for a moment
Okay.
here.
Fire
Because
and hold.
I would like to instigate something.
Uh-oh.
Oh God.
What are we?
Does it involve
instigating?
anthologies?
No!
Oh, okay.
Does it?
No.
Okay,
All right,
it doesn't, because there was a threat that someone was going to incite me to an anthology. So.
No, that happens. It's happening all over the place. It's like, well, let's just go get Law Dog drunk. Because
Where's Cecil?
right? So, and way over there. No, Jim's not here.
No, he's not.
Yes.
Jim's not here.
He won't be here for a couple of weeks.
He won't be here for a couple of weeks.
Poor bastard.
I would like to publicly thank that man, because 2 and some years ago, in when we were all isolated and trapped, and a bunch of us weren't living here yet,
Mhm.
that man decided to do a live stream. And he just got on there and talked about whatever.
Yep.
And because he was like, we're all isolated and we need to keep in contact somehow. And at that point, I was living my life in a tiny little room in an asylum, quite literally. I was working at the state psychiatric hospital. I had no friends. I was living in Oregon. It was dark, dreary, and depressing. And the only thing I had was his live stream.
Mm-hmm.
I had Netflix and that. And then you, Mr. Law Dog, started reading stories with your dog on your lap. And then ended up going over to Jim's.
Yeah, then he's blackmailed me to come over to this place.
Yeah, well, I think you had a few people pushing you down that road.
Yeah.
And he was still hiding off camera.
Yes.
At that
And he was
point.
still hiding off camera because he didn't want his face on the camera.
I should still be there.
And then a couple more people started showing up here and there when they were in town, including me. And then this thing, a bunch of us moved to town, and we all get to be social.
We blame that one on Rita.
It's all Rita's fault.
Yeah.
But the nice part is that Jim opened his home to the hospitality of the Saturday dinners, and has been central in a huge way
Matt needs a bigger house.
to the court. No,
Matt needs a bigger house.
No, we're gonna
but-
have to come up with an
No, but
alternative.
it's serious. This is a serious thing, because he is the quintessential Southern gentleman, full of
Oh, yeah.
hospitality for all of his grumpiness
Yes.
aside. But
And that's something people need to remember about Jim.
yeah,
Jim is very much a traditional Southern gentleman.
yes.
There's
Yes.
a lot of honor culture in that man.
Mm-hmm.
but not only that, there's a huge well of compassion
Oh,
and
yes.
a huge well of caring, and I mean, in many ways,
He
he's the
is a
reason.
hell of a host.
Yeah.
He's the reason North Texas Troublemakers exist, because he's
Yes.
the one who did the impetus to change the name of the group that got together. And he's the one who came up with North Texas Troublemakers and then started this page. And then it just kind of snowballed completely out of his control.
Yeah.
And he seems pretty puzzled by all that.
He does.
And he's
For a
like, what
fact.
the hell?
Yeah.
And
He's also the genesis of Fool's Con,
he is
which was the same
same thing.
thing that
Same thing.
that he started a live stream during the COVID era and decided to hell with this.
We're gonna have a con.
We're gonna have a con.
Well, it was, we were also talking at LTUE about how we have no time to get together and just sit and talk at conventions with all
So-
the people we love,
So Jim started Fool's Con, and
which
Jim
has snowballed out of control.
And he's taking the neck financially over Fool's Con every year.
Yeah, so if you're going to Fool's Con, pay Cedar, pay her now.
Yeah. So in the various groups, there is a link that'll take you to my website. It's a password protected page so that we don't have all and sundry, because I'm very clear that if you haven't been invited to Fool's Con and you pay for any of these items like the cover charge and meals, it's non-refundable, and we will use the money to buy another bottle of booze.
We will thank you and drink your booze.
We'll drink your booze.
But for those of you that have been invited, do please go ahead and consider this. I have it set up so that it's not PayPal dependent. You can use PayPal if that's what you use, but you can also use any other form of payment that you would for an online payment. This you did pay Becky Jones, and thank you for that. And several of you have already done. And bringing booze is always welcome too. That's a whole other thing.
Oh my God.
But if
The booze that's coming to this thing.
especially if we get the food paid up front, then he doesn't have to front that out of his pocket to hire in the caterer.
Yep.
And we have an accurate count for how many people are going to need meals, and which
Yes.
meals, because there's choices for Saturday night dinner.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, so the sooner you get that paid, the sooner he can, he paid for all of it up front.
yeah, he
So-
pays for it out of pocket up front, and then we reimburse
and
him.
then he had to rather suddenly go off to California to help
Right.
his daughter.
So yeah.
Here's what I'm going to say, gang. If we could show our appreciation for this man by pimping his books for 2 weeks straight,
Oh yes.
if you guys would
Oh,
at least
Julie,
take
I'm
the
sorry to hear
time.
that.
Oh yeah.
Um,
But if you could like go find your favorite Jim book and just put it up on your on your page
Do
or
do
something,
a, do a review on
or
on
do
your
a
page.
review on his page, because Lord knows the man
Or
deserves it.
both.
yeah. Reviews for books. I know that it's really easy these days how Amazon has it set up to leave a rating, which is all good, and we appreciate those. But reviews are really where it's at for us. So if you've read something of Jim's in the past and you haven't read a review, go back. If you need to read it again, well, then that'll be fun. But then leave him a review.
Leave reviews.
Yeah.
Some of the most endearing and creative cursing I've ever heard is when Rita checks her Amazon and somebody's left a star and no comment.
Yeah, Jim's is not quite as creative, but wow, is it colorful?
Him
Because
and Wayne,
damn.
him and Wayne, gone.
Oh my goodness, the two of them. But no,
It's
Jim
like,
is he's okay. And a lot of you guys know this already, but that little Southern gentleman act of his hides a really broad and deep and scary intelligence.
Yes.
Well,
I mean,
when-
that man is brilliant. So, and
when-
he'd be
when-
sitting here going, "Would you all shut up?" And we can get away with it because he's not here. So,
When there are records in Roman history of Jim beating the drum on a galley, he's got a depth of experience.
he does his depth of experience. We tease him a lot, but
We tease him a lot.
he's really gracious at not standing in the limelight. But I'm sorry, I'm just going to stick him there for a while
Mm.
because he deserves it, and he won't let us do it when he's here.
Yeah, no,
So-
I've had to get sneaky about things like the soda fairy leaves soda, because when you walk into Jim's house, there's a beverage fridge right there, and you grab a soda and you go in and you have dinner.
Yeah.
And I realized that this was a Jim funded thing, and I'm like, I'm gonna the soda fairy is gonna show up and leave a few 12 packs sitting there
Yeah,
on
show
his
up
stack.
and like 4 or 5 bottles of water and stuff
Right.
them in there.
And when I moved to town, he gives me a hard time about it, but he and I've talked about it. He's actually okay with it. I was like, when I cook, it's at my house because that gives
it's
Jim
only
a
4
break.
blocks away.
Well,
It
it's
also
not.
gives Jim a
I'm 2
break.
blocks away from Jim, but it gives Jim a break. He's got 1 week out of every month or so where he doesn't have to worry about cleaning and hosting and all that jazz.
And he
So-
claims to not like it, but he likes it too.
Yeah, no, he and I had a conversation before. It wasn't just a me going, I want my way. Wallbanger and RK, yes, we can absolutely add a line in for that. I actually think that's a good idea. I was contemplating doing it before, but I was also running this by Jim, and I don't think he would have cleared it. So we'll just slide that in now that he's.
You know what? He would say no. Well, too damn bad.
we can always call it the scholarship thing or something to that effect. Of toss in an extra $10, and if someone can't afford to come, we can pool that towards, if Jim won't take the money, then it can be used to help support someone.
Slip it under the table.
Right, because I mean that's the other thing too, is that a lot of what we do as a group is supporting one another, and that extends outward to the lot of you. And I mean, Jen has been a huge help, and the fact that we were able to help her back,
That was kind of fun.
Well, that's what
was
we're
awesome.
about.
Yeah,
That's what North Texas Troublemakers is all
That was
about.
kinda
You guys
fun.
are all part of that. Is that we're here to help each other out, and
It was nice to be able to pay to a crowdfund and not get from a crowdfund for once.
yeah, but same thing. We pulled your butt out of the fire.
Yeah, no kidding.
Ben, I
right?
did, yes.
No kidding, right?
Yeah, but the point is that's what we do.
Yeah.
Yes, and
Yeah,
that's the
absolutely.
focus. We're all about let's focus on the positive.
If you do this, I ain't answering.
No. My phone will come up sometimes with a number and say spam risk, and I'm like, I'm definitely not answering that.
Jen, it was great to be able to help you and know that you just get to relax for a while and get healthy. So
I don't talk about this, and I should probably talk about it more, because the reason I stopped talking about it isn't necessarily a good one. But I used
You
to
want to
be
beat on Cecil?
no. This is actually, I used to be a good church going woman. Don't go to church anymore. Issues has to do with the whole PTSD thing. Massive issues.
I
Long
burst into
story for
flames
another
when walking
time.
to church.
So
yeah.
that's probably a conversation for the broadcast, actually.
Yeah.
But so I don't tithe anymore. However, my faith drives me to, that's one of the things I'm supposed to be doing. The way for me to do that now is actually to find people that need the give, send, goes, or whatever, and chunk money into it as much as I can afford to, because it's that is charity, and charity has come to have a negative connotation, but charity translates to love, and you love one another, and there's loving your friends as yourself, and honestly, it's one of those things that for me, it's important, and it's kind of something I need to do. So I'm always trying to look for somebody I could help like that, just quietly and get it done. So coffee situation, there will be an urn of coffee. I'm pretty sure we have the coffee filters straightened out this year.
We're talking about Jim, former sailor.
There
is coffee on all the time.
Constantly.
All the time. Constantly.
If I'm going to be there, and you want to actually get words, if brain make
after
words,
Friday night, coffee is required on Saturday morning.
If you need words in somewhat of a coherent order from me, there better be coffee.
And about 8:30, the bar comes out, and then
if Reagan's there, there will be some excellent tea afterwards.
Oh
yes, Reagan brings fabulous tea with her.
Reagan, I bought a dwarf yaupon bush, so I can now grow my own yaupon for tea. And
Jesse,
Ian's blinking at me.
We wait for the kids to leave and go to bed. I mean, but and we're also there until wee hours.
Oh, and Leota's bringing tea too.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Tea after lunch is tea. Before lunch, noon, it's coffee.
And if you're coming and you try to talk to me before I get to the coffee pot, major mistake. Don't. Just don't. So.
Mark, let us know if there's anything that we can do to help you get there. Would be good to see you again. And eek, whatever the little fuzzy guy that rides on your shoulder is. You've not seen that man at a con, have you?
I have to tell you that
he has a little friend.
Really important.
Who's this?
Winklered.
Okay. He's got a monkey?
No, it's not a monkey. It's a fuzzy thing.
It's a fuzzy thing.
All right.
Jennifer made a great point because the internet changed the community. You're not kidding. Because really, this online community and stuff saved my ass and kept me from losing my mind before I got out of Oregon.
And dragged her out of Oregon.
And well, it was like, where am I going to go? And they're like, they're standing around there. They're waving their arms going, you can come here. We even have a spot for your shop.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, the internet allowed me to find my family and find my people because
I'm sorry.
I am such an odd,
aren't we all?
That I don't fit in many places.
The broadcast.
Yeah, I was going to say that's another topic for the broadcast.
We should talk about that too. Yeah.
But it has enabled me to find my community. I mean, I'm like things like Dave Freer. When Dave Freer was emigrating from South Africa to Australia and wanted to take the dogs, and the dogs are a huge part of his family, and he has an obligation to them, as he put it, of he'd taken them on and dogs. So he needed to take the dogs with him because he was leaving behind the farm and where his family had been for generations, and the political climate there was decidedly unhealthy. So in order to raise money to take the dogs, he reached out to the internet community, and that worked, and he was able to take the dogs and give them wonderful lives for what remained of them, because a couple of them were getting on in years. So figured it out.
Okay.
I figured I'd explain after.
All right. Cool.
But we're able to, we literally have a global community at this point because for a while, I had good friends that were in Korea. Of course, the army had them there, but I mean, one of them married a Korean lady, so lovely.
Yeah, it's
lady.
weird that like Sarah Singleton knows my friend Marion and from Germany, and I met Marion in Seattle.
2 degrees of Jim Curtis.
Yeah, and they
2 degrees of Jonna in this
actually,
case.
Sarah knew Jim and Marion knew me, and then
2 degrees
it was
of
like
Jim
2
Curtis.
degrees of Jim. We should play that game. 2 degrees of Jim. I mean, he really does know just about everybody. Between him, me, and Tully, I mean, whole conventions are covered. So,
Off on a bit of a tangent. We got back here to the States, and I got to see, my grandparents took me to see a movie, very popular movie called Raiders of the Lost Ark. Saw it in the theater. And there's a scene where Satan's oven mitt is meeting a Gestapo, the Gestapo bad guy, and does a Hitler salute. And I thought, this man knows monkeys. Steven Spielberg understands monkeys.
yes. He also killed it.
Yes, it was glorious.
So there's another movie where they're actually eating the monkey's brains, but
I'm not, that's a little far for me.
Yeah, that's how you get the really interesting diseases, the very interesting diseases
Now
that make doctors come in mobs to meet you.
Now, cricket bat, going for range, that's not that. Okay, eating the brains is a little weird.
You know, that's a game we could play at Fool's Con.
No, I'm not eating brains.
No, I mean Bat the Monkey.
Somebody's have to bring one.
Okay,
and I don't want to hear from the ASPCA. Monkeys are evil.
I'm sorry, but I'm just thinking that at the No Shit There It Was panel, we need a flock of flying monkeys. We really do. It just needs to happen.
And if you launch a flock of flying monkeys at me, LibertyCon will never let me come back. Because when I get done traumatizing the kids in the audience with what I do to the monkeys, LibertyCon won't have me back.
Somebody said the other day that you needed a rubber chicken.
We have a rubber chicken.
I was going to say, I think I may still have one in the kit.
No.
No. I mean like a magic rubber chicken. That one's a dog toy rubber chicken.
But it's still a rubber chicken.
That one is a rubber chicken that
goes with the pasties.
So yes, it does go with the pasties.
This chicken has seen the basement and the monkey. Just gonna throw that out there. You're a little red there.
Just anyway, yeah. We have the strangest toys littering the shop. There's a whole basket of them over there. Yes.
Oh, and on that note.
Oh, holy cow, we have.
Yeah, we did.
Wow. Okay.
Book broadcast. Jim's books.
Okay, so Jim's books. He's got the Gray Man series. He's got the Western novels. The Rio Bell series, Ranching on the Colorado, and I can't remember the other one. And it's behind me. I could turn around and look.
There's a whole stack of them over here.
He's got a whole stack of books.
He's got military science fiction. He's got modern
Westerns.
Cowboys and Indians. Classic Westerns.
So good.
Buy his books, read his books, leave comments and reviews of his books, not just on Amazon. Tell your friends.
And for those of you that are watching and might not realize it, on Amazon, he's J.L. Curtis, not Jim Curtis.
Yeah.
So you want to search for J.L. Curtis. Space Cowboys, March 24th, David.
No, February 24th.
February 24th? No, let me go look. I've got a calendar on the wall for this.
Yes.
February 24th.
It's bleeding.
February 24th. I'm only a month off. I mean, this month has been.
Cowboys 2 is March 10th.
Space Cowboys 2, March 10th.
2 weeks apart.
So, But Not Broken is available on Amazon. If you don't feel like you're going to be able to read it yourself, donate a copy to your library or to your local mental health practitioners. It's
everybody that's in Space Cowboys 1 has gotten all their stuff.
Space Cowboys 2.
Space Cowboys 2, we're still collating.
Yes.
If you don't have if you haven't accepted, patience.
Well, Courtney's out of town right now.
Yeah, so Courtney is traveling, and Courtney runs the
She does all that part.
All that part.
She's actually
stuff.
got all the. She's actually
So-
has the contracts. She's actually got the contracts she sends out. I don't have the
Yeah.
contracts.
Yeah. So
patience, people.
if you're waiting on that, she is off visiting with family, and we'll get to it when she can. But
she'll be back next week.
Yeah.
like most of us, she is running her little tail off, and she'll get to it. And I understand that you guys are anxious and excited. Cool, but just give her some time.
We've got 12 of these coming out. It's
Do not traumatize the editor. I have to live with her.
this is
no.
hard enough when people do 2 or 4 anthologies a year. We're doing 12. We're doing 1 a month.
No, we're doing more than 12 because we're also doing the postcards.
We have the postcards going on as well.
Postcards from Mars will be out soon. So that is fully illustrated book of microfiction.
So when Courtney's running around like her hair's on fire.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes here, but that means that there's going to be Raconteur Press is on track to have an amazing year.
Yep.
And we're happy to have you guys all along for the ride.
It's just
hang on, strap in, honey.
Strap in. Sit down, strap in, hush up.
So and we have now got 2 episodes
of the
broadcast up. And starting soon, the broadcast will also be available as podcasts on your friendly local podcast catcher, whichever app you prefer for that.
First one's already up.
The first one is already up. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So I wasn't able to find it when I was looking this morning, but I might have jumped the gun a little.
And we're doing 3 pre-recorded and 1 live stream a month.
Yes.
So
episode 3 will drop Wednesday evening at 6 p.m. Central. What we're doing is we're premiering them as if they're alive, but they're pre-recorded. And then whichever of the Moms of the Apocalypse is available will be in the live chat to interact with you all. But given that the 3 of us have trouble getting into the same actual spatial temporal
at the same time,
yes,
it's an adventure, I have to say. So
also my trial transcript is on the way.
Oh yes.
And I'm going to put it up on because I think that Jack will probably beat me with my rubber chicken or Cecil if I put the whole thing on my blog again.
You can just make it a downloadable Google Docs. We can help you with that.
I'm going to put it on Ko-fi.
Oh, there you
on
go.
the Ko-fi.
On
my Ko-fi account.
That's a really good idea.
It'll be free for download, but if you want to drop a little
donation,
that thing cost me almost $1,500 to get. Also, when we do the radio presentation of my trial with Anthony Spergel introducing.
We should invite the rubber chicken and Cecil the monkey to that.
Okay.
Because it seems like sound effects for
Cecil the Eat Monkey will be a stand-in for Spergel.
Screaming and all.
Screaming and all. And I think what we're going to do once we get the transcript and everybody's had a chance to read it, and some of my experts will decide where to chop it up.
I think we have to auction off who gets to be Spergel.
Spergel's actually got a very short, very small part of it.
It says so much about him, doesn't it?
It does, right?
So very descriptive.
I've actually found the person to do the commercial breaks.
Oh my goodness!
The episodes will be brought to you by Spergelmans. When you're used to disappointment.
Okay, if you want to find Spergelmans, you need to go to Adam and Eve online store. And they'll ship it to an unmarked box. But if you would like Spergelmans in the 4-pack.
Oh, I can't. There we go. I don't know if you can read that.
Yeah, but you can. Little Jeannie is the maker of Spergelmans. So
yes.
For legal reasons, it's Anthony Tony Spergel.
So
for satire purposes. And then we're going to break them up into 30-minute increments and start auditioning for parts.
I think we should.
And what I'm planning on doing is we'll do 30-minute scenes. We're going to we'll do the trial, but we're just going to do it properly. And then it'll also be up on Ko-fi for a free download, or if you want to donate so I can pay
you
my
later,
voice
Becky.
actors.
Lovely to see you. And we're over, guys. We need to go. So
We
All right.
need to head out.
All right, guys. Y'all be safe. Anything
And
to say?
remember, don't pet
pet
the sweaty stuff. And don't sweat the petty stuff.
don't sweat
Don't
the
tell
I
me
petty
can't
line.
say that.
It's
He's
Jim's
got it all.
line,
It's
right?
Jim's
You
line.
know? So
I'm standing for Jim.